It's been a while since I've posted anything here on Life's Rich Tapestry. Been dealing with a few grief issues and also just haven't been in the right headspace. But today I was able to interview my dear friend Julie Nelson, who is an astrologer, amongst other things. So I hope you enjoy this particular episode. Welcome to Life's Rich Tapestry, a podcast exploring the narrative of people's layered lives. Listen in on courageous conversations spoken from the heart. Gain insight into another's life as we tackle compelling topics which will expand your mind, help you gain perspective, and might even inspire you to do things differently. My name is Evelyn, and I look forward to your company. From the exact time of your birth, the planetary alignment tells us a story about who you are and who you are destined to become. My next guest, Julie Nelson, has been a practicing astrologer for 27 years. Her Sacred Soul Astrology reading is an enlightening and healing experience that will ultimately connect you with the brilliant sparkle that lies within your soul. A personalized astrology reading can help you to realign with your inner sparkle as you embody the full brilliance of your soul's potential. I'd like to welcome Julie to the show. Welcome so much. It's so good to have you here.
Hi, Evelyn. It's fantastic to be back.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Now, just a little bit about so you've been practicing for 27 years. Now, when did this interest in astrology start?
When I was a little girl, I used to love stargazing, and I at one point, and I giggle when I say this, that I wanted to be an astronomer. I just loved the stars. And then when I was actually doing my aromatherapy diploma, I decided to do astrology as well.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. And your Sacred Soul reading, what does that actually entail?
Yeah, it's a little bit more than your typical astrology reading, and depending on where somebody is with their understanding of their own birth chart. So we can go through the birth chart, we can do that transits, etc. And then what I do is I bring in my perfumery to it, because the essential oils all have associations to the planets and the stars as well. So I bring in the essential oils where they can either choose to make their own perfume, or they might ask me to create the perfume for them. And then we bring in a daily practice, a ritual that they can do all of the time to really tap into the core essence of who they are, relating to their cosmic blueprint or what's going on with the transits, if there's anything specific that they want to tap into. Yeah, so it's not the same for every person, but that gives you a bit of an idea. It's really lush. It's a long session, but it's fabulous. I have some, very happy people that have enjoyed those Sacred Soul Astrology. But I do shorter sessions as well if people want them.
Okay.
But that's my main one.
I find that really interesting. So some planets relate to certain scents. Is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, all of the plant world has its own elemental astrological association, and I do work with the elements as well. So we look at their elemental ratio in their chart, and then we can use the essential oils or the perfume to balance that out. So I'll use myself as an example because it's easy. I only have one earth in my chart. And so I've got to be mindful to be grounded all of the time. So I'm naturally attracted to very earthy scents, and I only discovered the reason why when I was studying astrology. It's because that's what I need.
Wow, that's so interesting.
So we know what we need.
That's so interesting. So So I guess it all means. So what do you really focus on then? Is it your rising, your sun sign, or is it just the whole combination of everything?
I look at everything. So, as I said, it depends on where the individual, my client is. A lot of people have even had their charts done, but they don't remember. Might have been a long time ago. And I talk very much in layman's terms. I don't get too technical because most people don't understand it. So the ones that I love to really work with, the areas, the sun, moon, rising, of course, they're your three key planets. I love working with Venus. I bring Lilith in. I love working with Lilith and the north and south nodes because I think they can be neglected, and I find them very powerful points in our astrology.
Okay.
And the transits, if they want them, and I'm starting to look more, deeper and deeper into the cosmic universe, where we look at some very outer planets, if they're up for it, if they want to go a bit deeper.
Okay. And talking about planetary transits, because there are quite a few that are going on at the moment. I know just a little bit, like we know that Venus is going retrograde. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what is Venus and what does it mean going retrograde?
Okay, yeah. Look, I tell you, there is so much powerful cosmic energy surrounding us. It's exciting. With Venus, so Venus is associated to the goddess Venus. So this is the planet of love, beauty, abundance, prosperity, fertility / birthing of ideas. So we can bring all of that in. And when a planet goes retrograde, then it's all about inner self, inner reflection. So looking at what you need, and it also depends on where she's transiting over your personal birth chart.
Okay.
So you look at that area. So, for example, if it was over Venus in retrograde moving over your first house, and then your first house represents the self.
Right.
And it may or may not have a planet transiting through it, and depending on what star sign is sitting there. But basically, Venus is going to say, you need to look in with yourself, really spend time on self-love and be soulful, look at your inner beauty, work with that, work with the abundance, like really appreciating the abundance that you have. And because our first house is how people perceive us.
Right.
How we show up in the world in our birth chart, our rising sign.
Yeah. But Venus in Leo, that would be it'd be something different for everybody.
Yes.
Assuming. Yeah.
So depending on where it's going over in their chart. And of course, Venus and Leo, Leo loves to shine their light out on the world. It's like, me, I'm here, And that, so it's like, shine your light out in a beautiful way, but tap into that inner light and work with that. Because again, whenever a planet is going retrograde, it's about this going within, self-reflection.
Yeah.
And it's tapping into the pleasure of both Venus and Leo, because Leo is a pleasure seeker.
Yeah.
Like Taurus.
For sure.
And Venus is all about beauty and love and abundance. So it's a really yummy transit. And then you've got, if you look up into the night sky on dusk or when it's just turning dark, at the moment we've got Venus and the moon moving closer and closer, but not that long ago, and you'll still be able to see it once the moon's passed through. In the southern hemisphere here, we look up at Venus. She's so bright and sparkly. And just up to her right, you will see Mars and Regulus. And Regulus is known as the royal star, and it's a point in the Leo constellation.
Okay. And what does that actually mean? Is it because it's close, it's I guess, give him more energy, or?
Yeah, so tapping in again, it's enhancing or potenizing that Leo energy.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's the brightest star of the Leo constellation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, anything to do with Leo. And then with Mars not too far away as well, there's that passion and motivation and doing. And again, they're both about me, me, me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wonder, would it actually be a good time to get married when Venus is retrograde?
Um, Again, it depends on where it's going on in your chart.
Yeah,
I
that's
would,
true.
you know, here's the thing. It would, for me, I'd have to have a look at the whole chart to say that. Some may say, oh, no, don't. But then for me, I would be saying if it is moving over your relationship house, the seventh house, depending on what star, a sign and planet you might already have in there or not. And then for me, it would be more about inner reflection. And it's going to be, the energy will be more about focusing on yourself. But really, I would want to have a look at the whole chart before I would say yay or nay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
yeah.
oh, sorry, I was just going to say people get really caught up in retrogrades being a negative, and they're not. They are about inner reflection.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that as well, because when you look at Venus retrograde in like a newspaper or whatever, it does say, oh, it does talk quite negatively, but then you do have to actually look at, you're right, at the whole chart and see how it affects that as well. So, and you were talking earlier about the nodes. Can you let me,
Yes. So the nodes, I love working with North and South Node. And in our birth chart, the North Node is your soul path in this lifetime. And for example, if it's in Libra, your North Node, then your South Node is going to be in Aries. And if you believe in past lives, that means you innately have the qualities of Aries that you've brought into this lifetime. And for me, it's all about bringing the two energies together to create balance and harmony.
Okay.
So Libra's going to say, just calm down a little bit, Aries, and bring a bit of harmony. And because Libra loves to please everybody and is about justice, Leo can go, just focus a little bit more on yourself rather than everybody else. And what's happened right now is that we actually have, it's just stepped in, we've got North Node in Aries. So Aries is the focus. It's, and then we've got Libra in the South Node. And again, depending on where it is in your chart as to where this can play out. But it's basically with the shift means there's going to be a totally different energy. It's like we've got Pluto dancing between Capricorn and Aquarius, and this is really about out with the old, in with the new, breaking old patterns and patriarchy, and don't get me started on that actually. But but Aquarius, it is a new age, and then when it finally moves into Aquarius to stay there, it'll be there for 20 years. So big new things. And Aquarius is that, being ruled by Uranus as well. It's that revolutionizing. The activist, the rebel, in the higher mind. So there's going to be a lot of change, hopefully, and change for the good. And then with Venus, it's like thinking about being kind to ourselves. There's a lot going on in the world right now, a lot of stress and unhappiness, and so tapping into that beautiful abundance that Venus can offer us. And then with Leo, the pleasures, keep seeking out pleasure. And it can be simple things like, and being in gratitude and,
So so with the North Node going into Aries, that will be a nice, relationship with Pluto when Pluto is in Aquarius, won't it? That'd be a sextile, wouldn't it?
Oh, I can't remember now. Yes.
Yes. And a
Yes.
trine from.
And so
that seems like something good.
yeah, well, what Aries is going to do, or Mars, I should say, is make them go faster. It's like, come on, we're going to do this. We're going to create this change. It's going to be really powerful because they are, excuse me, they are the doer. The Mars is the action taker, and they're very passionate.
Yeah, I do feel there is a bit of a shift coming in the world. It does feel that, and it does.
It's been happening. Yeah, it's been happening for a while. It's been creeping up and creeping up. And look, with that Pluto transit in Aquarius, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but we will see changes. Things will be revolutionized. We're already seeing it in technology, but I prefer to stick with ourselves, our personal being, and here on this planet now. So, and always remember that we have choices.
Yeah.
So some people don't believe in astrology. That's fine. So they're not going to really be aligned or connected so much to what is going on. And it's really important to remember that astrology has come from astronomy. It used to be a part of it, and it is real. It's being considered a math and a science now, and it is real energy, and scientists have been talking about energy and becoming matter for over a century. So there really isn't, there's no getting away from it. This is real stuff. This is not woo-woo, which I really dislike that term, by the way. But this is real, and it's really powerful. So when we align and flow with it, life will be more easeful for us. You know that saying, that which you resist will always persist, and vice versa.
Yeah. And I think when you do know your chart, you can work with it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I love that. I mean, I have my chart, but I'm always learning something new. So it's so interesting, and even interesting to work with the sense, like you were saying before. So I love that sort of idea. So what is your favorite planet? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, I'm a 5 times Libra. So it's really hard to pick one. However, I work with the moon. I do a lot of ritual with the moon, so she's right up there. I'm a very Venusian woman, having 5 Libra.
Yeah.
So Venus is right up there.
Yeah.
And I love working with Lilith, and often people don't put her in charts. And Lilith, in my modern interpretation, is the woman that rises unapologetically in her truth. So she dances beautifully with Venus. And I love Jupiter.
Yeah, I do too.
I
love Jupiter.
Love working with Jupiter. I love them all, but they'd be my top ones.
Wow. So with the South Node going into Libra,
it is just
in Libra, that would be affecting your chart, I'm assuming. Or
it's really funny, because I actually have the opposite in my birth chart. I've got Libra North Node and Aries South Node.
Okay.
And so they're opposite at the minute. So I'm actually quite excited about it. I kind of feel what it's going to do for me is that bring in more balance and harmony, because they're working with each other.
Oh, wow.
And this amazing synergy. So for me personally, I can't remember. I'm just trying to think. They're in different houses. I think for me, it might be the 11th and 6th, but I'd have to have another look.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? I can't think at the moment because I've been looking at so many charts lately.
Yeah. So if anyone is interested in getting a chart done by you, how do they contact you?
I'm pretty easy. I spend most of my time on Facebook and under Julie Nelson, Rich Witch Julie Nelson, Artisan Botanical Perfumer Julie Nelson. Or my website, julienelson.com.au.
Okay.
It's quite simple. Do you want to give me, do you want me to give you a few examples of essential oils that would work.
Yep, definitely. Go ahead.
I just think that's a bit of fun, and I actually have a perfume collection called Enchanted Mistresses of the Stars, so they're for each sign. And I'd just like to add this, that we might be fully living into our chart, but there might be something like, not just with the elements, but say, for example, if you're an earth sign and you feel like you want a little bit more fire, then tap into the fiery sense. Like if you want, say, for example, bergamot is perfect to work with Sagittarius. It's if you want to bring a little bit of Sag essence into you, because bergamot is like Sagittarius. It's that forever young at heart, playful, happy, joyful energy.
Is that also with Jupiter as well? Is bergamot with...
Yes, Jupiter, absolutely. And I also use juniper for Jupiter, because juniper oil is about expansiveness and awakening, and it's a beautiful, powerful oil, and it gets rid of all the old stale energy. So optimism, which bergamot is great for too. With Libra, rose or geranium, they're both actually ruled by the planet Venus.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Wow. That makes sense with the rose. Yeah.
And so, look, there's so many. Pick one for me and I'll tell you, because I've got a whole lot running through.
What about Mars?
Mars, if you want to bring in a lot of that Mars energy, basil is the number one. It's ruled by Mars. It's the warrior oil. And Mars is very, very stimulating, and it's what we call a cephalic. So it's really good for the brain and the head. And Aries tend to be in their head. So if you're a full-on Aries, that may not be the best oil for you to use. You might want to bring in something more grounding. So a beautiful Taurian oil is vetiver, which is very, very grounding. So,
I have a question. If you, for instance, are attracted to somebody and just say they're Aquarius, would you wear their scent or?
Well, you could. Absolutely. Or it might be, I mean, you'd want to have their chart done, but you can definitely. I've done perfumes for like weddings. I've worked with. We've looked at their astrological signs or for partners and that. And it might be too like, well, you've got an Aries partner but you're a Taurus. Well, Taurus is very earthly and tactile and sensual. We could even go Scorpio, which is very, very sexy. But if you wanted to ignite a bit more spark for the Aries, then you'd probably get something a bit more fiery and sexy going on.
I love that. So I'm going to put all of the notes to get in contact with you, because because I think when you know your chart, you can use it for the benefit of everything.
You can. So and here's the other thing, like understanding your birth chart, I call it your cosmic blueprint or your star map. Then you've got, it's like your blueprint. So there's a lot of aha moments when you learn about the energies that are innately a part of you. And then you look at the transits, because that's the energy that is going on around you right now. And that's where you can really work with to align yourself and when to do things and when not to do things.
So with the nodes going, like you said, they've just gone into Aries and Libra.
Yes.
So how long do nodes usually last?
It's going to be about 19 months, I think.
Okay. And of course, Venus retrograde lasts how long?
Oh, well, it depends. There's different. This one is. Sorry, I was thinking of all of her different journeys. This one, I think it finishes in September.
Yep. So I think about 40 days. That's when that retrograde happens. But I think when you know your birth chart and then you know what's happening planetarily, you can relate that. So
you align with it, and then things can be more in flow. And Venus is a little bit like the moon. She has different phases, and that's why she's so bright in the sky at the moment.
Yeah.
So just as the moon has all the different phases, full, waning, waxing, new moon, dark moon, so too does Venus.
Okay.
Has different phases. So now is a very powerful time. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting, and I'm excited about the nodes as well. That dynamic. But this has been a great show. Thank you so much for coming in today. I'm just so happy to have you here, and I'm happy to finally get a podcast out. So thank you so much. Yay!
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your company today. I look forward to you joining me next time on Life's Rich Tapestry.